I want to know because I want to know, because if there's a problem, I'm a firm believer in take care of it. If you can feel better, then feel better. So they took the blood and I went home and I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I got my testosterone levels checked. She's like, oh, really? She's like, do you think they're low? I'm like, yeah, I think they're probably low.
So guys, Derek, moreplacemoreneeds.com. Today we are going to be reacting to Alpha M. I got my testosterone level tested, ... Should I start TRT? Question mark. I was shocked, in all caps. I was shocked, in all caps. So presumably, it was a shocking test result, which we will see if it actually was or not as we get into this. So first thing I always check when I see Alpha M videos is see what he is promoting, because it is pretty well known at this point that this guy oftentimes will make videos specifically because of whatever company is trying to sell something that he wants to get paid from. So I assumed I would maybe see like some lab that's offering like at-home testing services or something like that. But no, the first link is to a ED medication. So basically, my guess is he's going to use the topic of testosterone to talk about how one of the symptoms of low T is having ED, and then at that point, go to this place and get your fucking Cialis. So let's see where that comes up. But his videos are very transparent in terms of like what he's going for. And to be honest, I don't think, I don't know, it doesn't seem like he intertwines the advertisements as organically as he could otherwise. But what do I know? I'm a small YouTuber, so.
What's up, gentlemen? So a few weeks ago, I had my testosterone level tested for the first time in my life. And I gotta be honest, I was actually shocked at the results. And today I'm gonna tell you what the results were and what my testosterone levels are. But before I do that, I think I need to back up and start from the beginning. So I've always assumed that I have had lower testosterone levels than most dudes. A few reasons why I assume that is my voice. It's not like real deep. It's always been a little bit high.
Okay, so that is not necessarily representative of low or high T. Like, yes, when you're going through puberty, it's going to have a strong impact in terms of how deep it gets, I guess. But I mean, like, how many bodybuilders historically have we seen with, you know, like high voices that are on gobs and gobs of gear?
Yeah, buddy! Lightweight! Yeah, buddy! Go! Yeah, lightweight!
I don't really have much of a pronounced Adam's apple. Also, body hair. I don't have a lot of hair. I also have most of the hair on my head. And typically, guys that have a lot of testosterone levels are gonna have more pronounced Adam's apple, deeper voice, more body hair, and they are more prone to hair loss. At the age of 12 years old, I started lifting weights. And so my body, in terms of muscularity, has always been decent. I've never been the biggest dude, but I've always had a decent body. Working out and bodybuilding has always been one of my biggest passions. And I competed as a natural bodybuilder. I've never taken steroids or any performance enhancing drugs. I've always been comfortable with what I had. And I was of the mindset that once you do something, you can't ever say that you're natural again. And for me, it was something that I really, I don't know, I'm just proud of. I've always been super proud of myself that I've never taken any type of steroids or performance enhancing drugs. But as I've gotten older, it seems like a lot more of my friends, like literally, like my 4 closest friends, all are taking testosterone. Now, the truth is they're all like over 40 years old. And as you guys know, or may not know, I'm 44. 44, I know, right? It's even hard for me to believe. But the deal is, I started really thinking about it. All my friends are on it. And then online, all these people are talking about the miracle, magical, mystical powers of testosterone replacement therapy.
It's crazy how, you know, more mainstream this stuff is getting. It used to be such a taboo topic, and frankly, it still kind of is. And this is sort of why people sort of dance around the topic, or people even sometimes use it as a cop-out to kind of substitute for their hormone use. They will talk about how it's, you know, doctor prescribed and blah, blah, blah. But just in general, like the actual intelligent application of it for what it's actually supposed to be used for is becoming more mainstream and well accepted. Although it is still a bit of a, you know, risque, you know, is that even a word? The taboo topic to discuss, especially on a platform as large as Alpha M. And I think it's kind of interesting the coincidental timing of this guy's video, because right on the same day this guy's video came out, a video came out on Thomas DeLauer's channel, which is another very big, not self-improvement necessarily, but like a overall health, fitness, etc. channel that typically is like never talked about TRT. And it's just like, as of recent, it seems like some of these like really mainstream, like natty channels, like there was Scott Herman, which had me on. We talked about TRT pretty openly. And then we also talked about, you know, it was probably lesser of a conversation about TRT and more about like the fitness industry and guys who are using TRT as a cop out for like potential, you know, hormone use, like as an excuse to kind of like justify their use to their audience sort of thing. And then recently, on the same day that Alpha M just published this testosterone video, me and Thomas DeLauer went over his blood work and discussed if he would benefit from exogenous testosterone administration for TRT for himself, because he actually recently had a blood test result which showed he like literally had clinical like diagnosed hypogonadism by even by reference ranges, which are otherwise like a very general and broad range, including people who have like shitty production. So it's not even like an optimized population. He's actually, it was, you know, there's a lot of nuance behind the reason why that may or may not have been the case of why he had hypogonadism on a piece of paper. And we kind of detailed that in the actual video breakdown I did on my channel as well as his channel. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but it's just interesting how, you know, a lot of big mainstream channels lately are starting to really, you know, open up to the idea of talking about TRT in an open manner. And it's actually really good to see. So I think this is like a good, like lately, this is a very good segue and like platform to kind of like catapult the conversation in a good direction to the more mainstream audience that may otherwise never hear about it or may otherwise think it is some like scary, crazy thing that they don't want to hear about, or, you know, just poor information pervades in the community forever because, you know, it's hard to get, like some of the most obscure information is like the best information, and it sometimes just doesn't get shown because it's these big channels don't like, you know, take the opportunity to, you know, put that information out there because they're either, you know, just don't want to talk about it, or they, you know, don't look into it themselves, or, the, you know, like a myriad of different reasons. But anyways, this is good to see him touch on the topic, because oftentimes these, you know, like it's Alpha M isn't like cookie cutter. I get, like, I don't know, I guess some people would consider him that, but you wouldn't expect him to talk about it openly. So anyways, continue from here.
And so I really started to think that maybe I needed it. So I started going down the list of symptoms of low testosterone and trying to think, you know, like, oh, is this me? Is this not me? You know, the common symptoms are depression. And I'm not typically depressed. I'm a little bummed out, and this whole situation we've been dealing with has me less than like super excited, but I feel pretty good. Feeling tired all the time, that's another symptom, and I am tired, but not like a lot. Reduced sex drive. And if I'm being honest, my sex drive is lower than it used to be when I was younger, right? When you're younger, right, you're ready all the time. And me, I still enjoy sex and I enjoy it on a regular basis, but it's less, and I think about it less than I used to. Could this be a sign? Reduction in erectile function is another symptom, and I'm not experiencing any of that, but I know what to do if I do, and so do you.
Who fucking called that? Like, come on, dude.
Hit that link down below and go check out today's video sponsor, Roman. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy, right? Usually as dudes, we blame it on something else. Like, I just lost my mojo. I'm tired. Not tonight, honey. Maybe tomorrow. And tomorrow comes, intended gentlemen, really discreet. With Roman, you can privacy of your own home. The healthcare process is straightforward, simple online visit. Erectile dysfunction used to be tough to tackle, but you're gonna get $15 alpha. Some other symptoms of low T.
Okay, so you know what's interesting about this is how this is a video about low T, and then he's advertising ED medication, which works via inhibiting PDE5. It's like, dude, how are you going to talk about low androgens and then give an advertisement for a substitute being Cialis or Viagra? It's like, if you have clinically low T, adding in Cialis on top is not going to fix the problem. Like, I've never seen more of a Band-Aid fucking advertisement attempt than that. Like, that was so horribly timed in my opinion. Like, you didn't even, how can you even go to the realm of saying like, you know, guys, if you have low T and you have ED, like, you know what the answer is just take this fucking vasodilator that has nothing to do with your actual sex drive. It's like, come on, dude. Like, actually, you're talking about TRT. Like, maybe give the fucking encouragement to get your testosterone checked, and maybe it would rectify itself by taking TRT at that point rather than just covering it up with more PDE5 inhibitors, which are all well and good, but that's probably the secondary, lesser important thing rather than addressing an actual hormonal deficiency. Like, I don't, you should have had an ad for like fucking where to find a good doctor or something, dude. Like, that was just ridiculous. I think that was a poorly timed advertisement suggesting that, oh, if you're low T and you have ED, just take this fucking shit. It's like, come on, dude.
Testosterone is less beard growth. Now, honestly, as I've gotten older, things have started to fill in a little bit better and I'm less patchy than I used to be. So that doesn't apply. Loss of body hair, crap. Okay, I shave everything, so how the hell would I know, man?
This guy has like the best energy of any of like the self-improvement YouTubers out there.
Boobies, obesity, I'm pretty solid there. Loss of lean muscle mass, I think I'm good. Being forgetful, not being able to find what's the word? You lack focus and what was it? See, I'm kidding. Anyway, so all of these things, I was going down the list and I'm like, you know, some of them I think they apply, some of them don't really apply. But then I started thinking, I'm like, yo, if my testosterone levels have always been low, I don't even know what I'm missing or didn't have, and so how would I know without getting tested? Maybe my energy levels should be like here and it's only here and I just don't know the difference because I've always been low. And so the other day I was going in for my annual blood work and physical, and I said, yo doc, let's hook it up. Why don't you test my testosterone levels? He's like, okay, but why do you want to know? I'm like,
your annual blood work doesn't include any endocrine parameters whatsoever? Like, that seems fucking weird, especially if you're in your 40s. Like, why would you not have that included in your annual panel? I don't know, it just seems weird to me.
I'm like, dude, you obviously are not on YouTube. I want to know because I want to know, because if there's a problem, I'm a firm believer in take care of it. If you can feel better, then feel better. So they took the blood and I went home and I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I got my testosterone levels checked. She's like, oh, really? She's like, do you think they're low? I'm like, yeah, I think they're probably low. And so a few days later, I got a call and she said, hey, your blood work's in, go into your portal and see the results. And so now I'd like to show you my results. My testosterone level was 556. The standard range is 264 to 916. 556, I was shocked. I thought it was gonna be so much lower than that.
Oh, so he was shocked because they were normal? That's funny. Okay, I'll have my comments after he finishes elaborating.
And I honestly was pretty excited about the fact that I'm normal, I'm healthy.
Okay, so a 5, like in the 500s is not necessarily like, yeah, for your like average for a otherwise put like not optimal population whatsoever. If you're going to compare yourself to genetic phenoms with, you know, how trying to like compare yourself to like old men with like shitty production in an average range and then use that as a metric of like your health status is just kind of ridiculous in my opinion. Like, ideally, if you were actually like a high level of function, like I would be quite disappointed with a, you know, like 500 plus. I would want something closer to 700 plus if I was to actually be excited about the fucking results. And above and beyond that, getting into the actual levels which really dictate if you're going to have the ability to build muscle, the ability to like the actual freely circulating hormone in the body, which is something he doesn't address at all that I've seen so far. Like, what's the free test level?
I don't need to do anything other than continue to eat a healthy diet, exercise, and do the things that I've done over the course of the past 44 years. Sure, my testosterone level isn't like super high or like 700, 800, 900, but for me, that's okay. I don't need it to be that high. As long as I feel good, as long as, you know, I'm healthy, as long as it's not like super low and I'm not, you know, experiencing any side effects of low testosterone, why would I want to take extra?
Okay, so like, yeah, what he's saying makes sense. If you're not symptomatic, you know, presumably you should be healthy, right? And like, we're not going to just go by a number on a piece of paper and assume this is the end all be all, but we don't actually know what your free test is. Like, we just know what your total is. That's the total amount that you're producing, but we have no idea what is bound to SHBG, how much is freely circulating to be available to transcribe their effects in tissues. And at the end of the day, to say that, you know, like I'm perfectly fine. Like this level is totally acceptable. It's like, we don't really know until we see the full picture, which I don't know why, like you would assume these guys would have like top doctors. Like this guy has 6.2 million subscribers. Like surely he has like reasonable medical advisors on his side that have, or at least somebody consulting with him that is telling him how to optimize his performance, his health, his longevity, his mental state, etc. And no one's told him to date even once, go check your test. And then no one's told him for this one, when he said, I want to check my test, go check your free test. Like that seems just fucking baffling to me. But anyways, we don't actually know how good he is until we see the free T, in my opinion. And it's like, again though, if he feels good, you know, that's the main thing. And like, even when you get into intervening with HRT, it's like, oftentimes the number on a piece of paper doesn't necessarily dictate whether your dosage is good or bad. It's going to largely boil down to, are you still symptomatic or not? Or has everything been, resolved? So again, we can't always go by the number on a piece of paper, but again, it would be nice to have this metric to actually see, do you have a disproportionately low free T relative to this? Could that be oftentimes diet related, lifestyle related, potentially other medicine, whatever medications you're using related? There's a lot of different things that are going to impact proper balance of androgens to estrogen, to binding proteins, to etc. And we don't have the full picture at all just by seeing your total T. So you never know. You could be low T. You could have a 900 nanogram per deciliter total T and have symptoms of hypogonadism if you had a low free T, disproportionately low so relative to your total. So no, we don't actually know what the fuck is really going on until we see the full picture. And this blood panel was the bare minimum to get some sort of gauge of what's going on, but it still does not give us what we need to see fully what's going on.
I feel good the way I am, and I am of the mindset and the belief that if you don't need something, if you don't need to take something, you shouldn't take it. Guys, the less crap you pump into your body, the less stuff you take that you don't need, the better. And I know that a lot of people out there take or experiment with the TRT that technically probably don't need it in order to be healthy. They're taking it for other reasons. Now,
that's definitely true. And that sort of touches on the thing that me and Scott Herman were going over on his channel about the guys in the fitness industry that use TRT sort of as a cop-out when they're otherwise just intentionally crushing their T to get a prescription, or they are don't actually need it and are just taking it exogenously through an underground lab or whatever and just claiming it's TRT and blah, blah, blah. Like there's a myriad of reasons why a lot of these guys in the fitness industry are on TRT, and it most of the time does not actually come down to you need it medically, which that's their own personal decision though. And for him, like I understand why he's saying what he's saying, but I don't know, like saying the less crap you pump into your body, like I can tell that's not, I can already tell you right now, like I know why he's saying it and I don't really care because I can just I can read through the lines here, but I mean like a lot of people aren't going to take kindly to the word choice of him here, pump that crap into you. It's just like testosterone is the bioidentical hormone you depend on for high level of performance. And it's kind of hard to, for anyone to say that crap. It's kind of a bit of a misleading statement, I guess. It sort of paints it in a bad light when it otherwise, ideally a video like this should be helping to normalize it for those who actually medically need it rather than, painting it in a way that is negative. At least, that's how a lot of people in, the TRT community are going to perceive it, which I think he should have made a better worded statement about that part.
Now, that being said, if you are low, if you are feeling all the things we talked about, then yeah, by all means, you should consider your options and you should do something about it. If my testosterone level reaches a point where I do need to take some type of therapy, then I will do it. But at this point, I don't need to, and so why should I?
Well, you don't actually know if you need it or not until we see the full picture, to be honest. But based on the fact that you are symptom-free, that obviously is, significantly in your favor for gauging that. But having an accurate metric to determine that for sure would be something we would determine via looking your actual freely circulating androgens in the body, not just your total androgen production. So, and you would think you would have a fucking medical advisor or a consultant that would have told you that, but apparently not.
And this is something that I just want to real briefly talk about. I know that there are a lot of people online talking about it, and yes, I take it, and I know that there are a lot of clinics and doctors that will prescribe it to you even if you don't technically need it. If you need it, you need it. If you're taking it just to take it so that you can be bigger and stronger and put on muscle, you know, just be aware that this is not something that your body is just going to be like, okay, that's cool, thanks. Your body is going to change. Your body and your boys will start not needing to do what they do. So they're like, yo, deuces, I'm going to Tijuana. I'm going to go watch a show or two and maybe sit on a beach and sip Mai Tais, right? Your body doesn't want to work any harder than it needs to. But I do not want you to take this decision lightly, all right?
That's a fair statement, because again, circling back to the people that may otherwise not actually medically need it, which a lot of people can relate to, because a lot of people do not actually medically need it that do it. You know, you have to gauge, and you have to consider too, a lot of the people that do the TRT, some of them are actually like just using it as an excuse to blast super physiological dosages of tea and claim it is, you know, like therapeutic replacement, when in reality you would never in a million years produce that much naturally through your, you know, pulsatile diurnal rhythm of testosterone secretions on a daily basis. You would otherwise never in your wildest dreams produce the amount you are replacing with. So at that point, it's like, what, you know, you kind of get the lines blurred between optimization, enhancement, replacement. It's like, where are you actually at on that spectrum? And ultimately, it's a personal decision at the end of the day. And I understand why he is saying he's basically trying to say, like, I guess this last part is almost like sort of to rectify the part he said before that, where it's like, if you need it, then take it. But if you don't need it and you're just trying to find an excuse to juice, then like, don't do it, basically. He's just trying to lay it out in a way that, like, he clearly is not overly educated on the topic, and he's trying to come across in a way that is not claiming to be an expert, but he's trying to lay out as much as he knows. But frankly, I think he should have had a more thorough explanation of his own biomarkers before he came on and tried to educate his massive audience, because, you know, people look up to this guy as an authority on whatever he talks about. He is seen as an expert in anything to do with male self-improvement. So, you know, obviously, people are going to jump to the assumption that when he talks about testosterone, that is a male-centered topic and he must know what he's talking about, or else he wouldn't be talking about it. This guy is in fact Alpha M, the most alpha motherfucker on the planet, and he must know what he's talking about. He got his T checked, it's fine, he's symptom free, and like, this is what you should do because this is what he's saying. And it's like, you know, it's kind of like a hard balancing act when you talk about this subject, because like, at the end of the day, you should be able to get your own blood work and interpret it thoroughly, ideally yourself. And like, ideally you would have a doctor that works alongside you to be able to do that. And it's just a matter of finding the right one, but you have to educate yourself on the process as well, so you can actually know what's going on. And for Alpha M, it does not sound like he had an individual on his side that actually knows how to even guide him on what biomarkers to get, because just getting your total T, this certainly does not tell the full story, in my opinion. And yes, you can go by, what's the point of getting more than that? If you feel fine, like, it is not justified. It's like, some people, if they see their lipid panel, they may not feel a need to go further and explore it further because the baseline metrics looked fine. Why would you go out and get a fractionated panel if you had everything looked fine at the baseline? You know what I mean? With the most basic panel. There's a lot of different, you know, like, arguments for both sides of the equation, and some of them aren't even really backed up in the clinical literature. It's not like there's something that's going to tell you need to go get this test done, or else you're not actually going to be able to tell what's going on. But it's some of it you're going to have to learn for yourself through your own personal research, unfortunately, because not all of the medical suggestions are fully up to date with what may otherwise be best for you, especially when it comes to endocrine parameters, unfortunately. So anyways, let's see what he has to say here.
All right, luckily for me, and I feel very fortunate that I don't need it because my body is working. I live a healthy lifestyle. I do the things that I need to do and that we've talked about in order to be healthy and live a long, happy, healthy life. Now, if it's something that you need, do it. If it's something that you just want to do because you want to get bigger, jacked, and shredded, think about it, think about it, think about it, and do your research. And if your body doesn't need it, gentlemen, don't take it. But if it does, then consider it. Gentlemen, I just wanted to share my experience because it's something that we've talked about a lot, right? Testosterone. I've done a lot of videos talking about natural ways to boost it and signs that you've got high testosterone, low testosterone. And for me, I felt it was about time for me to figure out what mine was.
So I don't even know how you could position yourself as somebody who should be talking about how to increase your test, how to check if you have high or low T, blah, 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 when you actually like don't even know how to read your own blood work. So I don't know, like, it seems kind of silly that he's coming out and He's basically saying in this video he doesn't actually really know about this stuff, but he's talked about it many times in the past and has sort of presented himself as an authority figure on the topic. So, and maybe that's me just being a little bit too harsh on him for it, because it's just a general, harmless thing to talk about like fucking superfoods you could eat to boost your T or whatever. Shave your balls, because that's what Teaching Men's Fashion Alpha M, every second video, shave your balls, increase your test, blah, blah, blah. So for him though, it's like, I don't know, like you would think at some point you would have educated yourself about actually how to even get blood work, how to interpret it, how actual like thorough breakdown of biomarkers that matter above and beyond your total T. Like, how has that not become a topic of conversation throughout any of your videos you've done in the past? Like, you've made it to 6.2 million subscribers and talked about testosterone multiple times with millions of views on these videos, and you still don't even know what free T is. It's like educate yourself a bit, dude. Like, come on. So people are looking at you as an authority on the topic, and you should present yourself with more detailed information than just, I got my test, it was 500 and something, so therefore I'm fine. And you need to do that too. It's like, people expect more from you at a channel of this size. If you're going to present yourself, people are going to use you as like the explanation of X. So when they defer to you, Alpha M, as the expert authority on fashion, men's self-improvement, grooming, hormones, blah, 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 like make clear maybe that what you did is not necessarily indicative of what everyone should be doing. This is not the end all be all. And like, in fact, I would compel you to go get a follow-up panel done and actually break down like your full parameters, explain how you optimize your health, explain what they all mean, get an SHBG checked, get your free test checked, and let's go through that, explain it in detail. Because right now this is, you don't even know, dude. Maybe you could benefit from it still. We don't know what your total, we don't know what your free is. We don't know what your SHBG is. Maybe you have some ways you can optimize yourself further that goes above and beyond this. But again, this is me just being a little bit harsh and using this as an opportunity to educate a grander audience than would otherwise see the video by leveraging his audience and using it as some clickbait. But that's fine in my opinion, because otherwise, how else are you going to get this topic out to the masses unless you present it in a mainstream appealing way? So anyways, Alpha M is a cool dude, and I like his content too, by the way. I shouldn't come across as too harsh on him. He's just trying to bring good information that he knows about to the public. But yeah, more education needs to become more mainstream on this kind of a topic, and not brushing things under the rug based on very basic and rudimentary biomarkers where you could find more to the story. For some people, they are going to walk around with hypogonadal symptoms even with a normal total T, because they don't look at the full picture and they just look at their total, and a doctor will send them home and be like, you're fine, look, your total is in the 500s, this is totally normal, you shouldn't have any problems. Take Cialis, because that's the only reason you have a problem is you need Cialis and Viagra from this fucking sponsor. It's like, maybe we need to look further at the picture. Maybe there's some things going on with the balance of androgens to estrogens. Maybe there's things with binding proteins that you haven't been looking at. Maybe there is things with other health parameters you have not been addressing. What's your blood pressure? What's your this? Like, how's your sleep? How's your this? Is there certain things you could optimize through other means that you haven't checked yet? There's a lot of fucking things to think about, that this is a bit of a sweeping overview to just say your total T is this, you're fine. And anyways, I'm rambling, but anyways, this is check out Alpha M's video. Let me know what you think on the total. Do you think I don't even know, like, this guy is the authority, and you would think that you wouldn't just be like plugging some fucking Cialis medication. You would talk about some actual good breakdown of how to interpret your hormone levels, rather than just, I got mine checked and that's fucking it, here's some Cialis. So anyways, that is my stance on the topic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All of the comments help push the algorithm, so they're much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplates_moredates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, including my TRT clinic, where you can actually get high quality telemedicine with doctors that actually understand how to interpret your hormone profile, as well as a more elaborate deep dive into your other biomarkers, including your hematology, your metabolic parameters, your thyroid, your inflammation markers, pretty much anything and everything you would need to check a comprehensive overview of your health status, and then figure out how to address it if warranted and optimize it. And it's all done through the comfort of your own home over Skype, FaceTime, Zoom. Don't even need to leave your house. It's the way of the future, in my opinion. And anything else I'm associated with, it's all in the video description below. So thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.